time once again for the A7FL 3-on-1 podcast. As always, I'm your host, Matt Ryan, and not much going on in the A7FL this week, aside from the Fall Brawl playoffs coming up this Sunday on the Silver State Sports and Entertainment Network. So we are looking around the A7FL and trying to give focus on some of the other divisions you'll be seeing on March 26th, one of them being a division heading into their second season in the A7FL. We're going to be speaking with a quarterback of a team whose uniforms I truly enjoy. It's Dale Hathaway of the QC Crush. Dale, welcome to the 3-on-1 podcast. How you doing tonight?
Hey, thanks for having me, gentlemen. Feeling great. Weather's shitty over here in Cincinnati. How are y'all doing?
Cold. Real cold.
Well, you're probably warm compared to him, Rob, is what you're saying, right?
Probably. I wouldn't want Cincinnati weather.
Yeah, pre-call, I was just confirming that in the previous podcast, I was saying, like, imagining that it was -10. And then Dale added that how many inches of snow did you guys just get?
The day of the game is about 6 inches, 6 or 7 inches, man. It was shitty.
So there you go. There's the dedication. And the game you're referencing, right, was the you guys just recently – and we showed it on air while we were doing the Vegas, fall week 3. Actually, it was 2 weeks ago. But you guys had your scrimmage against the Columbus guys, right? How did that go?
Yeah, things went really well, man. We were really happy to see that the league's growing into other parts of the state. We went up there and scrimmaged a couple of guys on their squad, and everything turned out really well, man. We all talked about, spacing, some of the different things that they're going to see. I didn't let all the tricks out of the bag, but I kind of let them know at least the ins and outs, the 101,
Did you have to explain to them what Rob is constantly explaining, that you cannot run an outside sweep if the defensive end is lining outside of the width of the stance of the offensive tackles on that side? Did you guys give them that quick clue?
See, I think that maybe I saved some of those little tidbits of information like a couple weeks down the road,
That's tough.
Well, Q week 1. Whatever the Columbus team we're referencing, running a jet sweep and
smashed.
It's not going to work without blocking. Okay, all right. Well, they'll learn. You can only teach them so much. They got to learn on their own, right? You guys had to.
Oh, absolutely, man. We kind of got thrown into the wolves. We were just scrimmaging the Covington Heist. We really had no idea of how the other different games are being played throughout the different parts of the U.S., Out east, it's a run-heavy attack. You look at the teams like the U and BIC, they're very pass-heavy. They got mobile quarterbacks. Vegas has a more traditional style of football. And then Florida is just like, it's just everybody's having fun out there, flipping the ball around like it's flag. So, there's definitely different concepts and different ways that people are approaching the game in the league. It's nice to see that a lot of them work in different ways,
Which is your favorite so far?
Ours.
So how would you actually describe yours for people who haven't really? I mean, from point of a reference, we only seen you guys play and the Covington Heist. So what is that style of football?
Certainly. I would say the Covington Heist is probably more traditional Baltimore style team, pack the box, run it down your throat, let Seth get the ball and kind of do his thing. Darrell's really good too, doing the option. Now, as for us, we like to spread it out a little bit. We like to have guys put in motion, spread it out, and kind of have fun. Let our playmakers make plays, I'm one of the older guys on the team, as you guys may or may not have seen, I'm not the one who's out there doing a lot of the scrambling and making everything happen with my legs. Sometimes I'm just staying in that pocket, staying calm, delivering that ball, hoping my guy makes a play,
And there's nothing wrong with that. That's actually worked in the league plenty of times before. A few of my favorite quarterbacks, that I had an opportunity to block for, those guys weren't very mobile quarterbacks. We just gave him a good pocket. He threw that ball to a great receiver and made some plays. Do you have any standout receivers in your league? Let's not just say your team. You could start with your team, but in the league overall, like guys to watch at the receiver position.
Oh, certainly. If you kind of look at some of the guys on our side of the ball, we have a lot of speed. So I definitely got to give credit to a couple of guys on the squad. You know, Kobe does a really, really good job getting separation. Mike Bell is fundamentally sound. We got a new guy coming down who I'm not even going to say his name. He comes down from Michigan. He's going to be making some plays for us this year. We got a guy coming up from Atlanta, Georgia, who's going to be making some plays for us again this year. He's going to be able to get more opportunities outside of the offensive line, unlike he did last year. His name's Wardell Brown. But, you know, outside of that, we got a lot of young guys too. We got a lot of young guys. Yes, sir. We got a lot of young guys too, man. A lot of young guys are looking to make a name for themselves for sure. It's definitely a receiver by committee. I would not necessarily say that one guy looks at himself as being better than any other guy on the team. We're all equals here, and we're all here to do one job, and that's to get better and win.
Now you're facing you're in your second year as not only, you know, quarterback, new team, all of that, but as a division, you guys are in that second year. What we're seeing, and kind of put into perspective what we've been able to look at, what we're seeing in the Vegas division is this off season, after facing some of the harder opponents and seeing what those other styles are. One of the things we reference all the time is what the experience of the Vegas Force going and playing against a team like BIC, and, you know, the result is the result. They lost by a wide margin, but they were able to at least kind of gauge what they had against what is the championship level performance in this league. Now, you guys, and it was a real brief appearance, and I'm not going to, you know, denigrate you for whatever it was. You guys are traveling all the way down from Ohio to Florida in a situation that we talked about pre-call, with which added to it. But you guys faced the test that obviously, based on the result, and no disrespect, I mean, look at enough games of mine and you'll see a lot of donuts as well. But you guys faced the Nightcrawlers and a Buzzsaw and Mark Bagley and the guys that he brought late that season to the Tampa Bay Nightcrawlers, including a monster of a human in Deontay Henderson. So since that game, has that been a catalyst for the QC Crush to build? Or was that a humbling experience where you kind of looked at it and said, let's start from scratch. There's too much to even work with?
I would say I don't want to fully answer on both, but maybe sometimes it was a little bit of both.
Okay.
We're definitely looking as to like progressing and moving forward as a team, becoming a better team. But like, don't get us wrong. Like, we were one of two teams after week 3 undefeated. We thought we were pretty cool. And then we went down to Florida, a little short-staffed, kind of thinking we're just going to stroll into the playoffs. And, you know, it was a pretty big L. But from that point in time, I do believe that we've all came together more as a team and started to look more into like, all right, so we got to start figuring out ways to beat them through recruiting, through developing the plays that we currently have, you know, making sure that we're eating right, making the right decisions, you know, making sure our boys aren't going out and getting in trouble and everything. You know, we all are on the same page now, and I feel as if we have a little something to say next year. We definitely have a little bit of anger, a little bit of animosity. We definitely feel as if we want to prove something to this league. We want to pick up where we left off before week 4 last year. Well, our week 4 it was really like week 7 for you guys. We had a full week. We had a full month off in the middle of our schedule, and it was maybe just because they couldn't get us the games with the Cincinnati, you know, the not having the Cincinnati teams could. You know, so I digress.
Oh, no problem. I mean, that's what a podcast is about. You'll find that I'm Mr. Digress, if anything.
No, wait, hold on. We're allowed to talk on this show? Fuck.
I haven't heard you yet, man. What do you got for our guy?
Well, we're talking about.
It's been a while since I've heard you talk.
Yeah, it's been a few days. It's been a busy day for me. A busy couple of days for me. I cracked a tooth before the start of the show. It's a whole fucking thing. But when we take a look at
that wrestling show was crazy.
It must have been.
But when we look at the road ahead for Cincinnati, you have the initial competition in Columbus. You have the different styles of offenses between the two teams in the city, which is a unique thing, to be completely honest. When we look at Nevada, we look at New Jersey, we look at Los Angeles and Florida, a lot of similar offenses. Sometimes it's the athlete, like you were talking about before with Seth Chambers, who defines the offense. But in a hypothetical situation, which division to you would be the one that you would want to face in a playoff scenario to try to get to the championship? Can you rank which parts of the A7FL you think your team, the QC Crush, would be most effective against to make it to an A7FL title game?
Well, if it's out of the thought of sheer competitiveness, you got to beat the top dogs eventually. So I would hope to make my stab, or hopefully us to productfully know where we're at as a team by taking a hit at one of the big dogs. But I guess with some of those things that are being said, I understand that the Florida division has a lot of good talent down there. But we were a little bit surprised that, maybe it was a big difference from the second game to the fourth game, and then obviously seeing film. But we thought that they would be fast. You know what I mean? You hear about that Florida speedball, and obviously, in much respect to Mr. Bagway, dude's a fucking hell of a quarterback. But we thought that they were going to be, faster. And then when we watched a little bit with the Ghosts and the A-team, we thought that they all were going to be a little faster too. So I guess it was kind of like a coming of our own, figuring out we can hang with these guys, even though the fourth game just didn't go our way. It certainly didn't go our way.
Dale, you're saying a lot of interesting things that have me intrigued. To hear someone say, we thought they were going to be faster, it's giving the impression that you guys are a lot better than I think anyone knows. That's what I'm getting from you right now. Am I correct?
Well, we're a quiet team, and like I said, we were kind of loud and proud and pumping our chests the first couple of games last year. But I think that we're kind of we're trying to be a little silent, try to make our moves, make smart decisions. But I do believe that a little bit of credit, self-warranted, self-promotion, all that shit, I'm cool on it. I'd rather you guys maybe just say that we're doing productive things, or we're doing the right things to become a good team, rather than me sit here and chant and have a couple of beers with y'all and start screaming about how I beat the Heist twice last year.
Well, I think that's an interesting message and a common theme that I think keeps popping up in A7FL circles. The loudest and the most talkative division team, players. We can even go back to the worst pants, even though my guy from the Kryptonite was making his fair share.
Oh my goodness, those pants were terrible.
I might have to recant my statement.
And
go ahead.
I saw the pants. They looked comfy. They looked like Zubaz pants. He's walking around like he's an '80s wrestler. But Cory,
or like Sinbad, but. They looked like the pants that like an animated Aladdin would be wearing, the size, and then the print on them was some kind of 90s cartoon that I don't think I've ever seen. But it made me think about, really, if I'm going to make the statement as serious as I did that these are the worst pants, I actually forgot about the Santa Monica Vibe and those CC Sabathia baseball pants too. So we're maybe going to have a poll at some time which pants were worse. But the fact is that the Santa Monica Vibe were in that same position that the QC Crush were in last year, where they won a couple games, started saying we're the face of the league.
Yeah.
Sounds similar to something that's been happening relatively recent in Vegas, back-to-back weeks almost, right?
Yeah.
Hey, Dale, I think you're hitting the head right on the nail right on the head. If you guys are moving, humbly working, I think that's the right formula. And we can't really comment on what we've seen, because what we've seen, unfortunately, Dale, I don't think you want us to comment on that 80-0. No,
I understand completely.
But if these are the things that you're doing, I think I would speak for the three of us saying that we're going to be excited to see not only what you can do against the Covington Heist Seth Chambers, Marshall, the quarterback over there. And even though record-wise they weren't, lighting the league on fire or maybe something to write home about, they look pretty good and pretty competent, at least, in the game against the Snow Tribe. Matt and Rob, I was playing, as I still will be, March 26th, opening day. You already know, right? Right, Dale?
You already know.
That's right.
Don't encourage them. What are you
Terrible.
Walk into our home, track mud all over our shoes with that you already know nonsense. That Michigas.
Dale, I have a question though, to help me get a better picture, because I have a picture in my head right now. But you mentioned that you guys went down to Florida and lost to the Mark Bagway led what is this team called? Nightcrawlers. Okay, the Mark Bagway led Nightcrawlers. Yeah, the Bagways.
He plays for the Cory Hammond too, Rob. Don't ever forget.
I will never forget. I won't.
I will never let you forget. I will constantly remind you.
You lost to those guys, and you didn't have your full team, you would say, right? A few guys were sitting home, right?
Yeah, there's no excuse. But yeah, we had a couple guys get hurt. We had a couple guys sitting at home. We did not have the strongest numbers to start the season. It's kind of like an avalanche when it hit to game 4. You know what I mean?
Okay, so let's say game 4 happens and every guy you needed to be there was there. How does that game go?
Oh, fuck. Well, I mean, looking at the outcome, for me to sit here and say that it would be a fucking sure dub, that would be a little silly. But I would certainly say that it would be damn more competitive, that's for sure.
Would you say it would be more competitive? Would it have been more competitive than what you saw when you watched Rare Breed versus the Nightcrawlers?
Man, that was a good game. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I mean, a minute, 27 seconds left, and they've got the fucking ball on the 15, 17-yard line.
That's that quarterback recall. Hey,
I watch a lot of film, gentlemen. That would haunt the shit out of me. Seriously, that's scary. That's like a nightmare.
Would you have danced ever? And the answer is no, and we all know it's no. But would you have danced ever?
I'm not a dancer.
Oh, come on. You got to have a little bit of dancer in you.
They were saying the Gritty. I thought they were talking about the mascot for the Philly Flyers. So I was like, Gritty, what is that? They're like, it's a dance, idiot. I was like, I only know Fortnite dances. I got kids.
Well, the Gritty's on Fortnite, no?
I don't know.
Gritty's on Fortnite? You mean the dance, not the mascot, not the one who looked like me before I got this haircut.
Oh.
Yeah, that haircut's looking nice, man.
Thank you. I got it before the show. I finally think I need to stop looking like a goalie coach every single week. And, it's only 2 months until the season. I say that now, and by the time we reach July, it's going to be back down to here. It's going to be a bad time for everybody. I apologize for those who will be watching us ahead of time on A7FL.tv.
And I'll look like Cousin It. I could basically just pull my hair down at the front at that point. Hopefully, I'll still be on the field, though, guys. But you already know.
I hope so. You know what? That's a fucking lie. I love you to death, Cory. I love you to death, and I want you to be successful, and I want the Snow Tribe to be successful. But when it's me and Rob, we do great. We're better than 90% of people in sports television. Shout out Joe Buck.
And you get to speak.
Yeah.
And you get to speak.
You did a great job, by the way, this week on the A7FL Fall Brawl. If you have not checked that out on the A7FL YouTube channel yet, the fuck are you doing? You're on the channel. Unless you're listening to the audio version of the podcast. Why am I gesticulating if you're just listening?
Also, Matt, I practice this a lot of times, so I'll even use it one more time. The Silver State Sports and Entertainment Network.
I knew you practiced that. I knew you were in the mirror looking at yourself.
I'm not plug in at least once today.
Well, that's not even to plug. That's just to give myself credit for the thing that I practiced. You already know that Cory Hammond's going to Cory Hammond, and Dale, I think he gets the show, so he's allowing us to have our little antics here. But let's get back to our guest here. One of the things that I thought was really interesting, Matt, Rob, or I always ask our guests, what was your first exposure to the league? And I think that would be something not only interesting to share, but in the theme of this thing that I literally just said, it would probably fit that theme as well, wouldn't it, Dale?
Yeah, no, for sure. Okay, so my first exposure to the league, it's funny, I told you this story not too long ago.
And of course, Cory Hammond would bring it up, right? Here we go.
Yeah. So, long story short, I'm flipping through, the cable TV, flipping, nothing's on. See football. I start watching the football game. Notice that it's the A7FL. I didn't know anything about it. This was probably, man, I had to say it was August of 2021. Yeah, obviously, because I played 2021, right? So I'm flipping, I'm watching, and I see you playing, actually. And if I'm not mistaken, you might have been on Spanktown at the time. And I was kind of watching you, field general down the field, and you were playing against another quarterback who's more like mobile and active in the pocket. And I was looking, and I was like, it's been a couple years since I've played football. I've just been playing, adult softball for the last 2 years. I was like, maybe I need to, instead of throwing the pads back on, maybe I need to go try this out. Went out to the tryouts in October, met up with all the dudes over there. We assimilated as a QC Crush. We were able to get a really, really two highly regarded coaches in the area. Took time out of their day to come help us out. We had Coach Scott from Kentucky, and we also had Coach Steve, who was a former head coach at Walnut Hills High School, very prominent school here in the Cincinnati area, and the OC at a couple other places. But once Coach Steve and Coach Scott finally came on, it was like, all right, we're just not a bunch of ragtag dudes just hitting each other. We have a squad now. So then it's like, all right, recruitment, enrollment, all that stuff. It wasn't quite up to the 4-team standard that we originally anticipated at the beginning of the year. So we started asking other guys if they were interested in starting their own team. Hence the Clifton Varsity Football Flag League is where the Covington Heights came out of. Okay. So they were a flag team for years and years playing in this league. They all knew each other. They all were on the same page and all that shit. As to where our team, we had a lot of high talent guys that were in the semi-pro footballs in the flag, the flag teams in the area, but none of us had played together. So it was like we're all learning from scratch. So, first game we come out, we get the Heist into overtime, beat them, and it just kind of started to pick up from there, man. We really didn't know what we had until after week 1. It's like we're playing against air. We're playing against air. We're trying to play against ourselves. Where do we weigh up? And then it's like, oh, okay, we won a game in the league. We're not shitty.
I have a couple of questions about Cincinnati specifically, but getting that first win in the league. Now, Rob and Cory have experienced different, well, in their case, very different levels of success in the A7FL. But both are first ballot Hall of Famers, in my opinion, when I finally get my way and I get the A7FL Hall of Fame established in a burnt-down Chili's on Route 9. I'm working on it. But when it comes to...
I agree with you.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
We got 2 votes. Yes, Rob. You're in, Rob. You got championships. I'm just sitting here about one playoff win, hoping everybody looks past it.
There's a Hall of Fame committee. There's a Hall of Fame steering committee. It's me, Ryan DePaul, the recently retired Big Mo Ramadan,
nice.
Olive, my dog, the ghost of Don Knotts. He's very important because he can actually see all the games at once.
It's true. Okay. He's omnipotent at this point. Yes.
And also Brady Hammond, weirdly enough.
Nice.
And he voted against me. He said that he's got 2 chips, I got none.
I didn't, and that's my son, I didn't want to say that. Ghost of Don Knotts loves you, though. The ghost of Don Knotts just fucking loves you.
Well, Don Knotts, because you also made the joke of non-corporeal Cory Hammond, so those 2 characters are hanging out. But the other, oh my god, I think we're going too far off the rails here. But I don't
we're too in the weeds. I'm sorry, but he is a fan of the show, so at this point,
right. We're
just saving you a listen of the podcast at this point.
maybe instead of doing the opposite, which another show did first, instead of you don't get the show, we get the opposite sounder where you get the show. And then it's like, it's like, no, we've stolen enough from that show. I think maybe we move on. Anyway, Dale, so you watched me and somehow thought, probably because you were like, well, if that guy can do it. And then you get, and then you get involved in the league, and then you start to, so you said you were playing softball, but when you were younger, you were a football guy growing up?
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. I played football growing up. I also played like flag in my early 20s. And then I was just doing the drunken softball thing for a couple of years. And I was like, all right, man, I can still do this.
Yeah, and, the drunken softball thing's more of like a hangout than it is a sport. Let's be honest. I'm sure you're competitive, so you're still swinging for the fences. But there's too many pop-ups for me. I just have bad form. That's why I never play. My wife's actually a legend.
I was still that guy. I was still a designated home run hitter, but I had to walk away, man. That fucking fuel and fire for football, man. You just can't beat it.
Well, so as a football guy, right? So you've played, obviously, you played the tackle. You played with the helmet. And this gets to kind of one of the other things that we like to talk about with the A7FL. And then last year was the first time that you played the full contact, no pads. Likely you've played it before with your friends. That's what we talk about with everybody. This is backyard football. Everybody's played some version of it. If you're a really true football guy, you played tackle with your friends when you were a kid. But as a professional league that has the structure, has the rules, has the coaching, has the game format, how did you feel as just a player in the league as far as your safety goes? Because the initial reaction we get from guys when we talk about this as a hypothetical situation that they might join is, oh, no pads? Well, man, these guys are crazy, including, to name drop, guys like Cam Chancellor. You might have heard of him, Legion of Boom for the Seahawks. Same thing. That's going way back when he was still playing. But how would you rate the safety? And is that one of the reasons why you feel like, as you're not as old as me likely, but you said you're one of the older guys on your roster, that you feel like this is something that you can't wait to get to every single spring?
Oh, absolutely, man. I live and die for this shit. It truly is just an amazing thing to be a part of. And as for the degree of contact and not having the helmet and not having the shoulder pads and all that, as to injuries are involved in everything, I truly think that the game is played a little bit smarter. I think it's certainly a lot safer. You're not using your head as a battering ram. And as for, if you at least want to look at it from like the percussion protocol standpoint, and also maybe obviously just how soft the bones in your face are, you don't see that many people getting head injuries. You don't see that many people getting, these crazy injuries that you're seeing in these football games. Like as of the last couple of years, man, people are getting bigger, people are hitting harder, and they're becoming more fearless. But I feel like when you're going up against another guy and you don't have pads on, you're aware that, you could not only hurt the other person, but obviously you could hurt yourself.
Facts.
And I've seen enough of your game to know that you're a little like me in the sense that when you're out there, you know that the most dangerous way that you can attack a defense is not by running and juking through them. So there's no juke. It's just straight ahead. So like it's
right, because the boat goes that way. So if you're in the way, you're just going over you.
That's right. It's one of those you zero in on the first down and you just beeline straight to the sideline. As soon as you get the first down, tiptoe out. No, but I've been working on my running form. I've gone from a Drew Bledsoe, guys. I've gone from Drew Bledsoe to 50-year-old John Elway. So I'm moving up.
Whoa.
Nice.
Dude, you'll be at Chad Pennington status in no time.
And don't blaspheme my guy. You ever see that juke he put on that naked bootleg? That's an all-time G right there. Chad Pennington, 0 arm strength, 70% career completion percentage.
And a playoff win.
He's right up there with Jay Cutler.
More playoff wins than I have. And it was on the Jets, so that's saying something.
That is saying a lot.
Now, my playoff win is with the Renegades. Is that saying something too?
That is, actually. They hate you, by the way.
Love me.
The thing is,
Joe really got my back, even though he says I trashed them, and I don't. I'm the only one that gets Kevin Stewart's back when you guys are trying to say he's useless. He's actually a much better quarterback.
Whoa! Hold the fucking phone here, pal. Don't generalize. Don't throw Dale in the fire too, or me.
That's true.
I'm grabbing a life jacket before you throw us fucking overboard.
It's a royal day, including myself. But also,
it's really me.
When you say
fitting me for tire tracks like all those defensive ends that come by.
Yeah, well, specifically for the Renegades, and it's not tire marks, it's cleat marks on my chest and face. Corey
doesn't like the match. He just has a little gas to throw on the fire every now and then. That's all.
I'll try. Matt, my asks, I'll try. And Matt, when you said hold the phone, are you talking about the Cricket wireless phone that sponsors my boys' Cincinnati division? Mm-hmm.
That is true. Cricket. I almost went into the whole fucking read. It's total. It's recall. It's recall.
Do it. Might as well.
Do it.
No, they're not paying us for this. But watch games from 2022. Listen to the cricket read that we do. It's very good. And if you want to be a part of, speaking of reads and promos, if you want to be a part of the Battle at Bullhead, a major tournament going on February 4th and 5th, go to A7FLNV.com. A7FLNV.com. Hearing a lot of rumors about that one, about people in the A7FL building and forming some sort of Voltron to come and prove a point. And guys, when we one thing that we can talk about on this show is the concept of a super team, because we're seeing inevitable expansion across the A7FL. We're seeing new teams pop up. We're hearing rumors of old teams coming back. There's at least 2 teams that have championship pedigrees that we haven't seen in the A7FL since before the Back in Motion tournament in 2020. So the stove is hot. A lot of the moves that we've been hearing in free agency, some involving Cincinnati, some involving New Jersey, and some involving other divisions where people on this show confirmed that they were making a move to certain parts of the country. Well, pen hasn't been put to paper in a lot of situations, and March 26th will be an interesting day across the American Sevens Football League. But when the music stops, Dale, what are the things that are standing in the way of the QC Crush winning the A7FL championship this year, or hypothetically traveling out to, let's say, a Los Angeles, a Las Vegas, a Reno, or even having to go up the road to Columbus and playing for a division championship, or a conference championship in a Final Four situation? What's the thing standing in the way of you guys playing a BIC or a Florida Nightcrawlers?
I genuinely would say that the only thing that's standing in our way to get us into that conversation is ourselves. We have a very, very good team. We have some very good returning players. We didn't even get to talk about G-Dub today, or Turbo, but we've got a bunch of dudes.
The guy from Breaking?
Play ball, and we're all doing it the right way.
Now, the one guy that I saw that even against the Nightcrawlers, you could tell that he had the pedigree. I don't know if you mentioned G-Dubs, the running back number 20.
Yes, sir.
What's his background? And he looks to me like he's played tailback long enough he could join any 11-on-11 team right now and run, the Shanahan zone read offense right now with a 1-cut or a 2-cut. He looks like he's just that seasoned running back. Did he go to a big time school? What's his football story, if you know?
I don't know a whole lot about his collegiate career, but I know as of recently, he plays for the Cincinnati Duke semi-pro team. Okay. And if I'm not mistaken, he might be teaming up with the 82 Chargers. See, the thing with our guys is we have a lot of guys that mix into the semi-pro game, but obviously also play with us. Their heart's here. They want to be here, but then, they go over there as well. So as to where some teams or whatever, they pull from the flag leagues, like we're pulling from a couple of the 11-on-11 leagues. So G-Dub, I would say, is a top tier running back right here, not only in like Cincinnati area, but like region, country. Like the dude is really, really good, man. He's focused. He's fucking hungry.
Yeah, we talk about guys pop. It's interesting because scheme wise, and I don't mean to throw your coach under the bus. I'm sure you guys are learning and evolving, but looked like you guys were really set on, at least earlier in the season last year, that that two-man offensive line, a lot more skilled positions than the actual, the protection up front. And especially against teams that would bring that third defender at the defensive line, it just would change the whole dynamic for any offensive play you called. I saw some cool design, cool motion, like you mentioned before, and it was a spread concept. But at the end of the day, when you have the three rushers, the two blockers, and no offense, but the quarterback that is, a find your spot in the pocket and throw it on time type of quarterback, as someone speaking from a lot of experience, it becomes a difficult ask, especially when you're not rolling that, running back into, like a slide protection or a double team or motioning into a crack, type of rollout protection. Have you guys adjusted some of the scheme from the misses and the, the learning moments in which you guys didn't succeed last year? Or is there another influence that's kind of, gearing you up to kind of take that next step, specifically on the offensive side of the ball?
Oh yeah, certainly. I'm definitely giving Coach credit, all the credit where credit's due. He's the main reason, why we had all the success that we had last year. Specifically, and some of the situations that you're specifically talking about, it might have been a personnel thing. Like we were kind of at the point where we were running a low team. We maybe didn't have that extra big to come in and help out. Or, like for instance, in the Florida game specifically, like I pulled Wardell off the line. When G got hurt, I pulled Wardell off the line and he became my running back.
Yeah.
That just shows how much of a Swiss Army knife that dude is. And I was telling you that he's going to be catching the ball a little bit.
Right.
So like there's a couple of different things that we've prepared in a different way. And I know that Coach, he's got so much up in his brain, man. Very, very knowledgeable dude. He's definitely going to have an answer for us. Now, me specifically, how am I going to do it differently? Dude, I realized when I went down to Florida, I think it was in May or something. It was literally the first like hot day over 70 degrees that I had experienced the whole calendar year. And I go down there and it's hot as shit and the humidity's pumping. And I look at my fat ass and I'm like, oh my God, I got to slim down. So that's actually what I've been doing. I slimmed down a little bit, like 5, maybe 10 pounds, trying to keep it cut so I can move a little bit better than I did last year. But other than that, though, yeah, it was a little bit of scheme that's getting prepped and prepared, and we should be good to rock and roll week 1.
And you say you watch a lot of film, right? You're a film guy.
Oh yeah, man. I probably argue with that. I probably watch more film than anybody in the Ohio Cincinnati division. Maybe even some of the other guys. At least this year's film. You know what I mean?
So you've watched a bit of BIC's film?
Oh yeah, dude. They got a hell of a squad, man. Like they really, really dominate the line of scrimmage. They got good bigs. They got a very, very mobile quarterback. Scary Terry definitely is doing his thing out there. And, I commend him for that for sure. But, dude, it's like they just retool every fucking year. They just get every good player in the league, and they just kind of go from there. So, hopefully, the team aspect, being the better team, being more on the same page with each other, hopefully maybe that benefits us as to where maybe that style of play certainly and 100% benefits them. You know what I mean?
Right. How do you think your style of offense is going to deal? Because you deal with 2 offensive linemen down and you back there, right? So you're showing 3. BIC will tend to show 3 or 4. And how do you think your offense can deal with that?
So absolutely. So in different situation calls for different things. So whether that be we motion a guy in, we put another guy in the backfield. Like maybe you'll see a little bit of full house out of us disguised in a certain way. And then, we just kind of get cute with it and throw the ball from there. So we have options as to where, like, and even if, let's fingers crossed, knock on wood, like if I get hurt, like there's a guy in the stable ready to fucking go. So like it's all a team thing here. Next man up, we'll all be ready to go, ready to succeed for sure.
We've talked about the QC Crush, and we've talked about a little bit about the Covington Heist. I think we, as a member of the Crush, you mentioning your guys' matchups and some of the players there, I think is good enough. We're not gonna make you lush all over a competition. But what are some of the other teams out there, and what are some of the things that you saw from Cincinnati in the scrimmage that was just 2 weekends ago?
So we have seen the Heist earlier this year as like an unaffiliated thing, and we scrimmaged them a little back and forth. It all went well. And then with the Columbus team, I think that some of the things that they're going through right now are some of the exact things that we were kind of dealing with at the beginning of last year. They got guys out there willing to go for it and want to be a part of the squad, but they need to get their numbers up a little bit.
Right.
They got a lot of really, really good ideas and some really good dudes running things out there. A very professional video photography team that I just saw one of their videos got released today. Very nice work, gentlemen. But they need a little practice. They need a couple guys. But I'm proud to say that those are my brothers, and I'm glad that they're going to be able to do their thing this year.
But when you guys play, is there already a natural rivalry between Columbus and Cincinnati as far as this bigger cities in the state? We know what the rivalry is in Ohio, and you mentioned that a guy came from up north, and I was wondering if you allow even people that root for that team up north anywhere near you after some of the things that happened this season. And I don't want to get too far into that, but
I hear you on that. Yeah, my dad went to Ohio State. I went to Miami. The Miami that was
of Ohio.
Florida was a state. Yeah. Miami, Ohio.
Yeah, Ben Roethlisberger was a state. Yeah, I'm from the time when I was in college that Miami of Ohio Kent State matchup on a Tuesday night at 10:05. And I may or may not have called a certain Italian right before. You're talking about some of the glory days of old Cory Hammond, and I love the Miami of Ohio with big old Ben there before he turned into a supervillain, a Batman character. But
yeah,
anyway,
on that.
But the natural rivalries that kind of tend to pop up in the A7FL, for whatever reason, Vegas and Florida seem to have a rivalry. In New Jersey, teams are always fighting and then build, the animosity, chapter after chapter, game after game. We talk about a team, Voldemort that might come back in. They got a couple big rivalries with some teams. So what do you think it's going to be like with Columbus and Cincinnati? Because it sounds like you guys are starting out buddy, which is what Derek Duncan thought that Vegas was going to be. And if you see some of the spice on the Vegas boards, it's a lot far from Vegas versus everybody, at least at that point.
It's getting very spicy.
So what do you think's going to develop inside the state of Ohio?
I think it's going to be some really powerhouse football, man. I don't necessarily think that every team's going to run the same scheme, and be uniform and kind of commit to, like everybody being similar. I think that you're going to see a lot of different styles here. We've got, obviously, you got the QC Crush. We're a returning good team. We got a pretty decent roster. Obviously, we got the Covington Heist. They definitely have plenty of players. They practice all the time. They have a good roster. But I don't know if y'all know this or not, but there is the two more teams. Obviously, you got the Columbus team, which I don't know if they've designated which team that they're marketing yet, but there is the Cincy Chaos. I don't know if you guys have heard about this squad or not.
I've heard about the Chaos. Yeah.
We're hoping that they're with this upcoming scrimmage, we can kind of get a feel for them and be like, all right, you guys, got a team, good to see you, let's get this shit rocking and rolling,
Definitely. One of the things we see from the Vegas division is, with a guy like Derek Duncan, he's getting the division out there. They're very visible. We see their fall. The battle at Bulkhead or Bullhead?
Bullhead. Bulkhead's on the plane. Bullhead is the city in Nevada that we will in Arizona.
Well, it's Arizona. In Arizona, yes. Yeah. So we're just getting everything wrong here. But that, what would we be if not able to correct ourselves and make sure that everybody remembers even more? So because they can laugh at me being wrong. But the battle at Bullhead coming up. Derek Duncan is doing a lot of stuff to make that division visible, to market it, to do what I say are the loud things, which are necessary for the league. It almost sounds like I'm trying to say that they're not necessary, they're not positives. But like we talked about earlier, I kind of like the theme that you guys are more of the, what you would expect from a stereotypical, if you were just to judge Ohio based on just the random, what's it called? Reputation, which is that you guys are blue collar, that you guys are going to show up to work with your lunch pail, you're going to punch a clock, and you're going to work hard. Is it too obvious to say that that's kind of who you guys are, deep down in your DNA? Or is it just that we haven't seen the lights shine bright on Ohio for a show that we're just not necessarily prepared for, but we'll be excited to see?
Shout out to A7FL Cincinnati owners. Joseph and Aldrin, they both do a really, really great job with everything they do. They brought me to to be a part of this wonderful league and a lot of the other guys on the team. But I would certainly say that, that Vegas has the cool cameras and shit. That's great.
They got a pretty good broadcast too.
I'd say so.
I'm sorry. No.
No. But I'm just always going to mention myself, so you're not doing anything wrong. Don't worry. I'll make it about me.
But Vegas has cool cameras and everything, and Florida, they do their own style of things, and you guys are very, very established in the Baltimore region and obviously up in the New Jersey region, but like we're kind of just we're trying to find our way, but there's a couple on the guys, like we can be loud and proud too. You know what I mean? Like we kind of keep it to a certain degree, but like, man, if one of these guys just starts flying off the handles, I'm not going to shut them up. Keep doing you, bro.
So week 1, if you guys got the Covington Heist, what do you think the score is? QC Crush versus Covington Heist week 1.
Well, the funny thing about the Heist, I've played them twice now, and we've played well against them. It's always a tough game, man. Like it's definitely one you got to take an ice bath out after, because like we all know them from the flag leagues and like know them throughout certain parts of town, and it's all cool. Like we're all buddies because we're all like assimilated by football. But the second that fucking clock snaps, we fucking hate them.
Yeah,
we fucking hate them.
I like this.
Seriously, like as to where like we'll play other teams and there's a hatred and all this stuff, but like we really take to heart, like the games that we play against them, we try to leave it all on the field. The first game, it was decided in overtime. The second game was also a one-score game as well. So it's like to sit here and say they're schlubs is not accurate. Like we played well against them. We had a very good scheme, and we were able to make that scheme work for us. But sometimes at the end of the game, there's a team that wins and there's a team that loses, and our team was lucky enough to get the victories there. So I would say it would be a hard-fought game, and I'm probably going to need an extra bag of ice for saying this, but yeah, I'd say it's a dub, man.
Well, I think you went fully, stereotypical, perfectly cliche quarterback. You're giving the other team credit. You're confident in your team. That's perfect. But I'm gonna force you into the corner, maybe be a little bit disrespectful. What team is the QC Crush capable of blowing out next year that you know of? Is there a team in the A7FL that you can't wait to line up against because you're gonna murder them?
The Snow Tribe.
That's fair.
Wow, Dan. Wow, Dan. That's crazy.
Hey,
Dale.
Hey,
insane,
Ben.
Dale.
Hey, Bill. Hey, his name is Dale.
No, I said Dale. That's insane, Dale. How could you say
bad,
something like that?
I think my voice cracked, but it went lower. I'm just kidding, Cory. No, seriously. Actually, a team that I want. So
you don't have to want to blow him out. Answer the question the way you want. I'm gonna, be my jerk self. But go ahead.
So going into Game 4 of last year, we were scheduled to play the Orlando Ghosts, but when it got put on TV, within 2 days of the game, they told us that we're playing the Nightcrawlers. So yeah, I played the Nightcrawlers twice. I understand that we're gonna get them eventually, right? But I would love to play the Ghosts. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say they're a bad team or anything like this, but I feel like there's unfinished business because it's like we were supposed to play them. I watched so much fucking film on them, and then 2 days before the game, they're like, "Oh yeah, you're playing a team that you already beat." And then,
with new players,
lo and behold, we walked down there acting like that, and the exact opposite happened the second time we played them. So
you're playing a team you already beat.
Play the Ghosts. I'd like to play the Ghosts.
Nice, and I like that answer. I think that would honestly that sounds like it would be a pretty interesting matchup.
I would like that. I think that would be a great matchup. But to be completely honest, I would love to see in a battle of the interesting uniforms, the QC Crush taking on the Santa Monica Vibe, because I want to see what would happen when those two different teams that met very similar and less than stellar endings to their season, but are looking to bounce back. I feel like that would be a really interesting make or break game to show the dichotomy, because we've seen Ohio play New Jersey. We've seen Ohio play Florida. We've seen Florida play New Jersey. We've seen Nevada play New Jersey. Everybody has played everybody with the exception of a couple of different divisions, and it's Ohio and California. That's one of the few pairings that we know have not faced off, and from what we've been told, it's a possibility that might be an option in the playoffs this year. That could be a thing that breaks out in whatever the national playoff ends up being. Do you guys think, since you are a voracious film watcher and there's a collection of great games from all across the A7FL at a7fl.tv and also our YouTube channel, you can search the A7FL, as I said before. If you're watching this video, you're on both or one of either. So, once this is done,
you probably know how to find the rest, right?
Yeah, but when you...
You're probably here already.
But when you're looking at those California teams or those Vegas teams, have you been watching any? You've been watching a little bit of the Fall Brawl. What are the things that the QC Crush What are the things that the QC Crush can do to stop a Pit Bosses, to stop a Santa Monica Vibe, or the LA Aces, or even the Vegas Hunters, or the Kryptonite?
A new one that looks good too, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of quality opponents. But what are the things that you guys think you can do to stifle those teams and get wins? Because if you're looking at a national playoff right now, there's a lot of scenarios where Vegas gets a lot more conversation. Florida gets a lot more conversation. Ohio, we're still learning about this division. You're the second guest from Ohio, third if you count Nate Nail in Columbus, to join us on the show.
Or second if technically our guy is from Kentucky, Seth Chambers.
Yes, but he plays in the Cincinnati.
That's true.
They share a body of water. It's like
that's true.
Like Jersey City being the sixth borough. What are the things that you think the QC Crush or Cincinnati at all can do to beat Vegas or LA?
Well, I mean, honestly, to have the opportunity to be able to go out there and be a part of the league and represent the league and play, hell yeah, send me out to Vegas. Heck, we would. Don't get me wrong, we'd be all about business, but that night, man, it'd be a party.
You could say it'd be a movie. Hopefully not Hangover, but
yeah, it'd be pretty crazy.
G-Dub's on the top of the Mirage. It's like, where's G-Dub? We got to find him.
Yeah, that's probably how it would go too. But no, in all seriousness though, I've heard just from ramblings and everything that like Ohio might kind of get put into that, much further down, because nothing's obviously set in stone. We don't know the schedule or nothing yet. Like, we very well may have the opportunity to go out there and play one of their guys. They very well have the opportunity to come over here and play us, right? There's one non-division game away, one non-division game home. So I genuinely believe that if we are able to play against one of these teams out west, I mean, it would certainly show us a better degree of like where we stand with the rest of the competition, as to where it'd be like a litmus test, or like where we're at on the Richter scale. I mean, really outside of the competition within themselves, the aces came out and they played, but all the other guys, they've just played each other. They were never given the opportunity to come out and get in with this other competition. So as to where, like, I went down to Florida and came back, the Heist went down to Florida and came back. They were able to see during the season kind of where they stood up. Some of the guys over there, I feel like, like maybe some of them are better than they think. Maybe some of them aren't as good as they think.
Maybe some of them shouldn't wear those pants ever again, but that's just.
Oh God, yeah, the MC Hammers. What the fuck was that?
They were too legit to quit, Dale. They were too legit to quit. Hey.
Yeah, dude.
A 33-year-old man. I pay taxes. I am an executive in this league, which is just saying a lot.
And you're also the dragon with 3 heads, man.
That is true.
Prince that was promised.
Whatever you say, sweetie. Whatever you say. Whatever.
Dale's laughing. He watches Game of Thrones. He knows what I'm talking about.
That's funny, man. That's hilarious.
I got Royal Rumbles on Saturday. My priorities are somewhere else. But as we wrap up here with the 3-on-1 podcast, and Dale, you are now a friend of the show, and you will have a free pass whenever you want. You are a break glass guest because we broke glass and you showed up. It's been an interesting week, and we were excited to talk about Cincinnati and kind of just get a better perspective. I've been talking with Joe, the owner of the division, since they came in. He actually almost bought us on championship game day. I was doing all the 9 million things I do during a show day. I get a text with a Cincinnati number. Hey, what's the address of the stadium? I'm going to send you guys Choco Tacos. And
that was before. And that was before they were discontinued. That was our last opportunity.
That was our only chance to get Choco Tacos.
If we only knew. And the ice cream truck was literally right there. We could have just had him be the one that delivered them. He was.
You missed out on an opportunity of a lifetime, sir.
Yeah,
your fucking opportunity, everything.
Look at me, man. I love a good Choco Taco. Jesus Christ.
Never had one.
I know.
You've never had one?
That's crazy because this A7FL podcast was brought to you by Choco Taco.
Imagine.
That would make my life. Look,
I think
more money to do this nonsense.
Discontinued.
We got to bring him back. We got to start doing an on-air campaign starting March 26th. And if you want to be like Dale and Cory, you want to stand behind center in the A7FL, you want to be a part of what is being called Not Your Daddy's Football, if you think it's your time, go to a7fl.com/players. That's a7fl.com/players and register now. Registration is open across all 9 divisions of the American Sevens Football League. So sign up today. Boston, Washington, D.C., Florida, Ohio, California, Nevada. We're coming to you this season with a lot of great action that's starting March 26th, and we're getting closer and closer to opening day, and the only way you'll hear the official schedule of the 2023 games of the week, all 3 games of the week, is right here on the 3-on-1 podcast. So if you haven't already, like, comment, and subscribe on YouTube. Also rate, review, and subscribe wherever to get audio. And Cory, I know you're going to do it.
Yep, I'm putting on the makeup right now.
Yep.
Hold on.
Yep. But before you shocular us, though.
Okay, fine.
Dale, your favorite moment so far in the A7FL, as a fan or as a player, what's the one thing so far that's made you say, this is a fucking fun thing to do, and I love every fucking second of it?
Do we pause that? Matt got real steamy there.
We let it go.
Sultry Matt it wasn't sultry Matt.
Fucking love it.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
That's great.
Dale, I'm sorry. I keep ruining the show. You save us, please.
Man, I to be honest with you though, man, the most savory moment that I kind of think back and I'm, a little bit of motivation for me, like, oh, I'm hurt. Oh, I don't want to do this. I don't want to go to practice today. But, man, it fucking felt good getting that game 1 overtime win. Me and my team, we rallied together. Them more than me. I suck, right? They rallied, and they fucking pulled it off, man. It was insane. We were down a touchdown going into last 3 minutes of the fourth quarter. We put one in the end zone. We had a big run in overtime. I mean, that was really, I think that was when everybody realized, like, holy shit, we're fucking here and this is fun. Like we can survive this. Like all of those big hits that you see online, like A7FL biggest hits, like, dude, that barely ever fucking happens. Like I've been lit up on my ass once, and that was down in Florida, and it was crazy. It's like it happens once every so often. You get a good hit, you get right back up.
Yeah, you pop up
because your head don't hurt. You probably didn't have anything crazy happen with you. Like you're fine, man. So it's a great feeling to be a part of. That's for sure, man. It's huge. That overtime victory was big. And I think that's what kept everybody hungry and like wanting to push and be a better team.
Yeah. Once you taste that first, like real, like it's not the glory, but it's almost the nostalgia of the team win after being away from it, because even flag, I think it's hard to regain beating a team when you have to beat them with physicality, because you overcame a physical obstacle. But that sounds a lot more serious than I usually intend to be at this point in the episode. So Dale, most important question that you're going to get tonight. tinyurl.com/A7FL merch. That's tinyurl.com/A7FL merch. You know the deal. You're a fan of the show. And if the fans at home, including you, Dale, want to hear breaking news in this department, check out an upcoming episode of my guys, Woody Ness Charles and Joey Bate from the Orlando Ghosts, that you might get to play. You might get your wish. You might fish your wish, they sometimes say, when you're old and you play those card games. But there's some, let's just be honest, I'm Cory Hammond, so I'm going to say that there's surprising choices of shirts on that podcast. But Dale, the moment of truth. Will you follow the landslide of A7FL players and guests that go with the Huss Huss like Big Rob? Will you step out and get a little sultry with the Thick Boy season, pause, or I'll just keep trying with I'll try? What's your choice? My guy.
All right, so here we go. One, Big Rob, you got to send a Huss Huss shirt to my number one, my G, my guy, my big lineman, Trench Baby Jew. He's the biggest motherfucker on the field. You can't miss him.
And so he's the Huss Huss.
He loves your shit. He told me, he's like, dude, Huss Huss, bro. But as for me, I want the Huss Huss, but someone called me Cory Hammond Jr. How can I not go with the Cory Hammond T?
Man, you can't pick the guy who called you Cory Hammond Jr.? No?
Succeeded. I'm sorry?
Couldn't pick the guy that called you Cory Hammond Jr. You had to stab me in the back. It's not even the odds of fucking much. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But if
somebody picked this shirt.
Well, technically, his lineman picked Huss Huss, but we won't go there, Cory. We're gonna let you have your
damn homie.
Which is also kind of like an upset too. The lineman, you would think.
I thought he was going Thick Boy season.
But hey, Rob, you represent the lineman well. I mean, we talked about on the broadcast this Sunday how many touchdowns you've scored and a little huff action that you may have. But Dale, man, we're gonna get on and you're gonna get that shirt. You just fished your wish. I think
that's what's up. I appreciate it.
If you're gonna try, I'm gonna try, and it's more than just the I'll try, right? You gotta really understand that. What it really stands for is that when you're facing the U and you're on the Warriors, because I'm not going to throw any of my current or former teams under the bus, and you show up and you know what the score is going to be, you have two choices. You could try, or you could say that you're sick. And your boy Cory Hammond showed up to get those donuts served. And they tasted disgusting, but I'll always show up. I always try.
Man.
So it was like the flu game, but sad.
It's just like the whole asking the shirt. Eventually, I am going to get a win. And Dale, you don't have to do it because you feel bad for me. It is a great design by my wife, at Jess
It
Ham
is, for sure.
Tattoos.
Certainly is a
Sure.
fantastic design. It is one of my favorites.
And it encapsulates a lot. But the most important thing is it does have the gray hair strands. And if you count them, I think it is an Easter egg. It actually is the amount of teams that I've been cut from. No, that's actually not true. But anyway, tinyurl.com/A7FL merch. You could be like Dale. You can get the shirt that's underrated. You could be the underdog and go for the dark horse. Or you can go for the favorite and Huss, or you could be just awesome get picked this season. But there's the plug. There's my clown makeup. And even though I didn't put it on, maybe one day down the road we do that as a skit because you know me. And you already know.
Yes, we do, Cory.
You know me.
All right. We're done. Just right into Cory grabbed the wheel from me, said, "It's Carrie Underwood time, motherfucker," and just drove us right into a ditch. And that is how we will end this week's edition.
And I dug my keys into the side of it. Let's go.
Ruined my Hugo, you asshole. But I want to thank you, Dale.
I'm passing out over there.
He's dug my keys into the side of it. I thought he was going to start singing the whole song. Please.
Don't tempt me.
Oh, the amount of references you're going to hear on the Silver State Sports Network this week during the A7FL Fall Brawl Final Four is going to be a lot. It's going to be, just strap the fuck in, starting in at 10 a.m. Pacific on the Silver State Sports and Entertainment Network. Find it in your local listings if you live in the greater Las Vegas area. It's channel 5.2, or if you have Cox, just search for Silver State Sports and Entertainment Network. Outside of Las Vegas, you can join us on A7FL.tv or A7FL's YouTube channel. Dale, thank you so much. We're going to be seeing you a lot more throughout the 2023 season, so we're excited to have you and have a voice of the Cincinnati division and a voice of Ohio coming to us here on the pod. Thank you so much for taking the time out and joining us, my friend. This will not be the last time you join us on the show, so welcome to the list of people we will have back on the show. All three of them.
Hey, thank you, gentlemen. I really appreciate it, man. Y'all do great work. Keep up. Keep staying hot out there, man. You guys produce a good product. It's a lot of fun listening to you guys.
Well, it was a lot of fun talking with you. Thank you so much, Dale, from the QC Crush, and you'll check out some of his info. We'll drop that in the box below. But for Big Rob Fabien, for Cory Hammond, I'm Matt Ryan, letting you know that, as always, don't be an asshole.
I'll try.